What is up, people? Welcome on in. CFCDB here with yet another video. We have an excellent one for you today. There's a lot happening in the world of Chelsea on this Monday. But first, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you like this content, we have a great community building here, so to have you as a part of it would be absolutely spectacular. But big news. Chelsea, João Félix, here we go. It got the Ornstein Bamba, it got the Fabrizio, here we go. Every other journalist confirmed it. João Félix is coming to Chelsea. So after a week-long saga, after Chelsea's failed medical or whatever happened with Samu happened, they moved on to João. Negotiations were happening all this past week, but it appears that Félix will be joining. Medical set for Tuesday. He will be coming to Chelsea and should be announced at some point this week. Going the other way, Conor Gallagher, as we've all assumed, this deal did get over the line. His medical and stuff has been done, so it's pretty much just signing the piece of paper at this point. I know a lot of people are very wishy-washy on João Félix. I think he brings a lot to the table personally. I think when you start to talk about like where he will play, what will he bring to this team, I think personally it's never a bad thing to have too much depth and too much talent. With players like Pedro Neto who get injured, with Christopher Nkunku who gets injured, there is just so much uncertainty of how many games these guys are going to hold up before eventually something happens. So bringing a guy like Félix brings in a bit of comfort, I think, in the position. I think, yes, he is very inconsistent, but he's coming off of what I would call a career year last season when he was on loan at Barcelona. He's 24. He's maturing. I believe that his skill set would suit this team. I think if you watch that Man City performance, you need a player like Félix to kind of drive the ball from that 10 position, drive the ball from that left wing position, and just create chances. I think Chelsea did not create nor finish enough chances against Manchester City in a performance where I thought defensively it wasn't great, but I think it was good enough to get a result. So Félix comes in. I think it's a good signing. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it. Personally, like I just said, I think it's going to be a good one. And I think on a 6-year deal, he comes in, he doesn't have to start right away, right? He's not in the Premier League starting 11, but if you give him Conference League matches, if you give him cup matches, and you make some cameos off the bench in the Premier League, I think making him earn it is important, right? Because it shows that nothing's going to be given to you. Since Félix has moved from Atletico Madrid from Benfica, he's been a high wage earner. He's been a guy that they've continuously said, we're just going to put you out there. You're a huge fee guy. We're going to play you. Well, he doesn't come into that situation at Chelsea. There is a lot of players around him that also came in on big fees and also are very, very talented. So I think you build Félix from the ground up. You kind of inch him into that role. And if he takes it, then great, because you have another great option on the team. Losing Gallagher, it was a year left on his deal. I think I can't be too mad about them getting a resolution. Don't want to lose him for free, so you move on. You get some money, you get a player, you get a little extra on top. No problems there. In other news, the constant battle of trying to get Raheem Sterling out of this club has taken yet another twist. Raheem Sterling today, the reports were coming out that he wants clarity on his future, and it appears that the clarity that Chelsea will give them is that he is no longer required to be here. Moving him on is going to be a different story. The wages, his desire to live in London is something that's going to have to be resolved. And there is only, as this video will be posted and most of you will be waking up, 9 days left in the window for him to get this resolved. So it's not cut and dry. There are some links to Juventus. It's possible that he could be interested in that move. But Juventus has to move on from Federico Chiesa to get Sterling in. So it's not necessarily just, hey, Sterling, go find somewhere. It's a very particular set of requirements that he's going to want, and it's a very particular set of financials that he's going to want. So we'll see what suitors come to the table. There was talks that Arsenal could definitely be in for a winger. They want to add somebody. He would be able to stay in London. Arsenal would be able to accommodate some of his wages, but I think it would be a hard task to get him sold, so it may have to be a loan with an option. But we will see how it ends up shaking up with Raheem Sterling. I think you look at all the pieces that you've added. You added Félix and whatnot. It's a situation that needs to unfold. Now, another domino from bringing Sterling out, getting Sterling out, would be Victor Osimhen possibly coming in. Chelsea have just basically said we are interested in him, but on our set of terms. If the loan is not an option, which Chelsea would prefer, with some sort of option to buy or obligation to buy, Chelsea need to be prepared to make those wages. Getting Raheem Sterling, getting Romelu Lukaku, getting Kepa off of the books is absolutely critical to making this Osimhen deal happen. So Chelsea are desperately in the last 9 days of the window trying to cut costs, trying to cut wages so they can fit Osimhen inside of what their supposed wage bracket is. They'll be willing to push some boundaries on that for sure. However, I think to get rid of Sterling, if you get rid of Lukaku, I think the prospect of signing Osimhen on a loan with obligation or a permanent deal just got a lot better. So if you move those guys on, it could be a positive in the Victor Osimhen saga. Napoli has brought a deal upon with Chelsea with a loan with an obligation. That is a little kind of hard because I think Chelsea do not want to utilize an international loan spot, even though it is going to be a permanent sale. That limits what they can do with some of their other players, and you might need to loan Sterling to Juventus. You might need to move a Carney Chukwuemeka abroad. There's a lot of different factors that go into it. Another thing that came out today was that Carney Chukwuemeka will more than likely not have enough game time that he needs, as said by Enzo Maresca, right? He said he's not sure that he'll get the 30, 35 matches that he needs to really hit the ground running and get back into his true full form. That kind of made me sound like it was going to be a loan. So could you sweeten the deal with Napoli and give them Carney for a year on loan? I think that could be a very positive thing for all sides. I think Carney could go there. He could go play some serious minutes in a good league and a good team with a manager that's going to really focus on getting the best out of him and Antonio Conte. So that could be another option. Finally, guys, we have so many players we need to get on the sales. Now, we've seen some little moves here and there. We've seen Leslie go to Southampton. We've seen Bashir Humphreys potentially go to Burnley, but there's a lot of other players that needs their future sorted. We're talking Armando Broja, we're talking David Dacho Fofana, David Washington, and that's just the strikers. There's certainly more that need to get their futures sorted, and I would imagine that Chelsea would be on the front foot in the next couple of days trying to find domestic loans, preferably for some of those players, or permanent sales as well. So there is time. There is 9 days left, but I expect it to be a fully fledged kind of fire sale at Chelsea over the next couple of days. I think a lot of teams are waiting until the end of the window where Chelsea will be like, hey, we'll cut you $5 million or $10 million or whatever on the deal just to get it over the line. So Chelsea are not in a power position here. They need to get some of these guys sold, and we'll see if other teams are willing to take advantage of that. As always, guys, I want to thank you for your unbelievable support. I want to give a special shout out to our show sponsor, as always, Cy Phillips Talks Chelsea. Simon does an amazing job with his community, giving content for all sorts of Chelsea fans. We're talking match analysis, tactical analysis, podcasts, live updated blog every day with all news Chelsea, overall transfer sourced articles. We know you guys love transfer sourced articles, and Simon has a great number of contacts that can lead you in the right direction. Just go to his Twitter page. You will see that he has hits after hits after hits, sometimes for players that have been way back this long-term interest, and it eventually gets over the line. Pedro Neto was one of those. So as always, go ahead, hit that link in the description, subscribe today. Fantastic content. I want to thank you all for being with me on the channel. As news comes out, we'll get to it. I am going to be on vacation from like Wednesday to Sunday, so there's a possibility that I will be doing a live stream on Thursday for the first conference league match. If not, I'll have a full match recap for you that night. Sunday, we will not have a watch along. I will be on a plane back home, but we will have a full recap video for you there also. So I want to thank you. Have a great night.